Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said Cognac.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and welcome back to Cognac's Corner. In another moment, we will be watching another fabulous video. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and always press the notification button to let you know when I will be publishing a new video. And also, darlings, don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about my videos and what other type of videos you'd like me to make. Let's get to the video. Pink champagne kisses. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and we are here at the Rockville Center Public Library for a very special screening of a documentary directed by Mr. Kevin Lopez. He's the filmmaker that directed this film, and he's going to tell us what we are going to see tonight. So, for my first question was, what inspired you to make this documentary?
So I've known Anthony for several years now, and just in a very organic way, I was introduced to the world not only of pet fashion, but really get a better sense of who Anthony was as a human being, as a person, and I absolutely fell in love with his upbringing, with what inspires him as an artist, with his advocacy for animals. I mean, really all the boxes were checking off for me as a filmmaker to make a determination on whether or not to commit my time and my resources and energy to tell the story of Anthony Rubio. And I got to tell you, for the last 2 years, I've been following him and Rob and the amazing people around
It's
him.
amazing, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
Me too. I follow him too, darling.
And, you know, it's just been absolutely inspiring because it's an uplifting story. It's a story about the connection between humans and their pets. And every time I've gone out to film Anthony, I just feel so excited and elated. And I think in these times where there's a lack of, like, positive, uplifting stories, something like this was really, really fantastic to work on.
Tell us the story how you met Anthony.
So I had the pleasure of meeting Anthony, working and meeting him through some mutual friends. I had heard about his incredible rise to fame, but as someone who loves dogs but never really truly understood how expansive the world of pet fashion was or is, I needed to do some research, right? So I just went into getting a better sense of what the ecosystem around pet fashion is, how it connects to pet welfare and animal advocacy. But it wasn't really until I went to one of his shows where I saw
how incredible it is.
I saw how epic it absolutely was. And I took my 7-year-old daughter at the time to go see the show, and I looked at her and I said, I should probably make a movie about this guy. And she said, yeah, you should.
Wow. Wow. So how many years do you know him?
So probably about 3 or 4 years I've known him. Yeah, we've been filming for about 1.5 2 years now.
Probably never went to a fashion show, like a professional fashion show before. That was probably your first fashion show you ever went to. Am I right about that?
No, so I have had some experience working in New York Fashion Week.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, as a filmmaker.
Okay.
My brother and I, some years ago, would be hired as a production company to do recaps and sizzles and tell like short stories around some designers for human clothing. So I knew how big and large New York Fashion Week was.
It has changed considerably, darling.
Yeah.
It really has changed a lot. I mean, it's not as grand as it used to be here in New York. New York City, it used to, fashion ruled here in New York City, but it's dwindled a bit. But there's still a bunch of great fashionistas that put this whole thing together, and it's still a wonderful place. I mean, I had a conversation with Fern Malice in the Hamptons, and I said, Fern, you have to come back. And she looked at me. She goes, I'm retired now. I said, well, Fashion Week has never been the same since you left. And she looked at me and she rolled her eyes, and she kind of agrees.
Well, you know, Fashion Week will never be the same, especially after introducing Anthony Rubio and his world to the universe. And I think that, you know, having seen traditional fashion shows in the past and then seeing Anthony Rubio's show, it just brought the experience to a whole nother stratosphere. And I felt like that was the story that needed to be told.
Now, let me ask you something. You are a filmmaker. Do you make a lot of films? I mean, not just recaps of Fashion Week and other stuff like that. What do you do? What have you done?
Yeah, so I got an interesting kind of day job. I'm a principal of a public high school in New York City. I just launched a film high school for New York City Public Schools. So Motion Picture Technical High School is the school that I'm running in Queens.
Has that always been your dream to be a filmmaker?
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker before anything. It just so happened to be that I fell in love with education, so I've merged both of my worlds, and I built this school with some really wonderful colleagues. But that never stopped me from making stuff, right? So I'm always making things. My students know I'm always making things. My staff always knows that I'm making things. This is my vacation. This is my break right now. We start school up again in a couple of days, and what do? I spend time with family and I make films. So I'm very excited about this particular story because this is one that is a feature-length documentary.
How long is it?
So today we're just going to see an excerpt, a 15-minute short clip of the film, but once it's completed, it should be about 90 minutes, 80 to 90 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm excited because I'm directing this one. Normally, I produce a lot of work for some really talented filmmakers. Some films have been picked up by HBO. We got a film.
This is some of your films that you've done.
Yeah, some of my previous films, right? So I've been making films for over 15 years now. But this one is different because it's more of a family-friendly film. My films are heavier. They're more for a mature audience. Things that I can't see with my kids. This is a film. This is
I get it.
that I made intentionally where I can sit with my kids and watch and enjoy it with them.
How wonderful. That's marvelous, really. Now, this documentary, when it's completed, how far have you gone before it's been completed?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. We are pretty much wrapped production. We finished filming everything.
Wow.
We might get a couple of extra shots here and there, but we are hoping.
What about this February? Are you going to be filming him again in February?
You know, we might get like some pickup shots, we call them. It depends on like what the edit needs, right? So we're assembling the entire edit now. We'll look at it with my team, my producers, and we'll see, all right, we may need to go back out and get a couple of things here and there. But the goal is to have the film completely done, what I call ready for market, by the summer of 2025.
How fabulous. So where are you going to take this? Are you going to take this like to Cannes, maybe? Maybe the Cannes Film Festival? Right?
So I got a film now I'm very excited that I'm producing that just got accepted to South by Southwest. It's a really awesome film festival in Austin. But I think this film, you know, hopefully finds a home in Tribeca. Tribeca Film Festival here in New York would be amazing.
I did the Tribeca Film Festival a long time ago. But you should take it to Cannes.
Yeah.
The French people love animals and
you heard
pets.
It first. That's where we're going to send it. I love it.
You should send it to the Cannes Film Festival. Maybe Sundance too. Robert Redford, I never met Robert Redford. I met Robert De Niro, but I've heard that Robert De Niro is very good to the press and he's very good to the filmmakers.
Amazing.
And you could try even the Hamptons International Film Festival.
Well, certainly here on Long Island, right? There's some incredible festivals here. One thing's for sure is that there's certainly an audience for this. There are folks that love fashion. There are certainly folks that love their pets. To be able to bring both worlds together is kind of a no-brainer, and I think that this is going to find a home somewhere. Great. I'm very excited about it.
Now, you followed him through Fashion Week. You followed him through his Pet Gala. You've also followed him. He's going to be doing another event, I believe, in April. Are you going to be doing anything with that? Are you going to be filming any of that?
So the thing about Anthony is that
he's always doing something.
It was easy for us because all we needed to do was just turn the cameras on
and just follow.
That's it. I mean, he's living the story. After we finished production, he kept going. We can film for the next 10 years with him. right? And but I think for the purpose of this film, we followed him over the course of 1 year leading up to the Pet Gala ceremony at the AKC Museum of the Dog. So
That was wonderful.
Yeah. So we
You
followed-
were at that event too.
Yeah, we filmed that entire.
I got
day.
a chance to interview you that night.
Yeah, well, it's good that you're
I
here.
was so busy doing all
crazy.
kinds of interviews with people, including Anthony Rubio. But I'm so happy that we sat down and we talked, and I got to meet you and actually talk to you. If we want to find out more information about you as a filmmaker, where can we go? Do you have a website?
Yeah. So I have a production company. It's called South Shore Films. Right? I live and represent the South Shore. We're here in Rockville Center now.
You live like 5 minutes away
Down
from
the
where
street,
I
yeah.
live. I live in Lido Beach.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So SouthShoreFilms.com has a lot of my work that I've done through the years. Like I said recently, I produced a really awesome film that is premiering at South by Southwest called La Salsa Vive about salsa music.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So a good friend of mine, amazing director Juan Carbajal, and I embarked on this journey over 2 years ago to tell the story of salsa between two cities. Salsa music emerged in Spanish Harlem and then suddenly disappeared, and the film really talks about where that sound reemerged, which happens to be this city in Colombia called Cali. So the story really is about a city trying to reinvent itself, reimagine itself through music. And it's a really wonderful film. We finished it, just got into South by Southwest, and I'm excited because now not only is that story over, I get to focus wholeheartedly on Pet Gala, on the Pet Fashion King, which I'm excited about.
Have you ever been to the Metropolitan Gala? Have you ever gone to that?
Yeah, well, no, you know what? I have never been to the Met Gala. I've been to the museum, but never been to the Met Gala. And I think that hopefully this
Very
film...
difficult.
I know, but hopefully this film helps inspire some conversations on potentially inviting Anthony to the runway or to the red carpet one day with the
That
dogs.
would be amazing.
And I think that's the power of film, is that film can...
You have to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
You have to appeal to Ms. Anna Winter. And she's not an easy person to deal with because I met her and I tried to get an interview with her and she wouldn't do the interview. But my gay friend that took me to the event, I love you, darling. So she took the picture with him, of course. So she's not easy to get to. But you should try. Tell my audience, where can we go to find out more information? What's the website again?
So my website is southshorefilms.com, but to get more information about this story, you can go to the petgaladoc.com. Pet Gala has its own a website with a lot of information about the work that we're doing, behind the scenes images. We are reworking the title to really center the story around Anthony. So the working title now is The Pet Fashion King, but we are keeping the website as petgaladoc.com.
Fabulous. And what about you? Could we follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, it's at Kevin Lopez Films. And again, also get some information on the new high school in Queens called Motion Picture Technical High School.
Gorgeous. Let's do an air kiss, darling. Mwah, mwah. And we'll be back with more interviews right here at the Rockville Center Public Library for the very special screening of the Pet Gala, directed by Mr. Kevin Lopez. We'll be back with more interviews, darlings. Pink champagne kisses. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane. Keep watching. More celebrity interviews coming up right here at cognacscornermagazine.com. Pink champagne kisses.
Say thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for being here tonight right before the new year. I know that this is generally a tough time for all of us, but I think that we had a really wonderful turnout tonight. So thank you all for joining us. This is a special community event here in Rockville Center to see a sneak peek, the sneak peek of what we're calling, no, turn on the lights, Luca, if you don't mind. I have my stepson who's my technician for tonight. Thank you. It's a family friendly and family affair for sure. So the working title of this project is The Pet Fashion King. It's had a couple of different titles, different iterations. You'll also see the title, The Pet Gala, which is the initial title that we were working on as we followed Anthony's incredible journey all the way to the very first Pet Gala in New York City that we covered as part of the story. It's wonderful to see so many faces, so many familiar faces. It's wonderful for me to see two of my worlds kind of colliding in my hometown. I'm actually more nervous screening this film here in Rockville Center than screening films anywhere else because this is my hometown. We've had the pleasure of screening some of the excerpts from the film last year at a really wonderful museum in New York City where Anthony got to share some of his new designs. We also got to share some of the excitement around the film as well. And you might notice some little ones running around. These are my kids, so no one over there hiding. So don't mind them. They might actually crawl under your seats. So just flag me if, or my wife if they're not behaving. I'm watching you guys. All right, so before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank a few incredible people and organizations who made tonight possible. First, a huge thank you to Susan Fink and the Rockville Center Public Library for generously hosting us and supporting this event. Let's give it up for the RVC Public Library. Catherine, the director of the library, was here as well. They're all very excited. They're excited to see the turnout as well, and we certainly couldn't be here without them. Hi. Want to say hi? Say hi. Hi. He's ready. Special thanks to Patty from the Huntington Arts Council, whose support through the statewide community re-grant program made this film possible as well. This program is funded by the New York State Council on the Arts with the support of the governor and the state legislature. Let's give it up for Patty from the Huntington Arts Council. Patty, thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you and Vince here today. People came out tonight. This is great. I'm so excited. I'd also like to thank our fiscal sponsors, Aubin Pictures. Aubin Pictures is a 501c3 nonprofit film company in New York City that's run by my good friend Catherine Gund. And I want to just thank them for their dedication in supporting independent films like this. This is truly an independent film. It's done with friends, with family members. We've piecemealed this budget. We still are working on continued funding for this project, and it's organizations like the Huntington Arts Council that supported us, and Aubin Pictures, who as our fiscal sponsor can accept contributions to the film as a tax deductible or a tax exemption. So if you certainly are interested in supporting the film, there are some postcards there with more information on how you can support. I also want to thank the AKC Museum of the Dog in New York City for partnering with us. That's a huge partnership. The AKC, the American Kennel Club, has really been behind this project from the very beginning. And without their support, we couldn't have gotten the access that we got as Anthony really helped manifest his vision at the Pet Gala back in May of 2024. So much props to the AKC Museum of the Dog. And last but not least, I gotta just give a huge shout out to the Flower Shop here in Rockville Center. They were kind enough to give us some pastries, some coffee. Let's give it up for the Flower Shop. They're awesome. They didn't have to do this, right? We reached out to them and they literally said to me, the owner of the Flower Shop said, anything they can do to support artists from the community, they're down to help. So if you haven't checked out the Flower Shop, go check them out. Their food is fantastic. They're on Sunrise Highway. Okay, so a little bit about me. Hi. You want to say hi again? Hi. And then he goes. I know my kids. So my name is Kevin Lopez. I'm the proud director of what we're calling now the Pet Fashion King. You are the Pet Fashion King, Anthony. And I'm also, my day job, I am a high school principal of a new school in Woodside in Queens called Motion Picture Technical High School. So I'm obviously immersed in film as an educator and as a storyteller. My students know I continue to make films. My staff know I make films. In fact, much props to one of my film teachers here, Dave Fitzpatrick, who is a Rockville Center native. Give you much props for showing up today. I think what's really exciting about this school in particular is that we live and breathe film, and our students know that. Hi. The film, so this particular film started a couple of years ago when Anthony and I worked together at a different school. I was the assistant principal of art and career and technical education at the High School of Art and Design. Those of you that might recognize the name of the school, it's truly one of the most remarkable art schools in the country. It's been around for over 90 years. If you can imagine the best and brightest visual artists of New York City all converging in one school, that's where they go. Everyone knows LaGuardia. LaGuardia is a fantastic school, right? It's a great school. Some of you might have graduated from LaGuardia. Fantastic school, truly the best art school in public art school in the country. But we want to make a distinction between a school like Art and Design and LaGuardia. LaGuardia is a performing arts school. They have a really awesome visual arts program, of course. But the High School of Art and Design stands alone as a visual arts program that helps train the next generation of visual artists and graphic designers. So meeting someone like Anthony at this space just makes all the sense in the world. There's a reason why an artist like Anthony Rubio is working or supports students, art students at a school like Art and Design. There's a reason why I am there, right? Leading the art department. And it was my predecessor, right? The one that hired me, Elmer Reingold, who was the assistant principal of art and CT at the High School of Art and Design for about 20 years. When I first got hired, she said, wait till you meet Anthony. I said, who's Anthony? Anthony works here, but he is the most famous person in the school. And I'm like, wait a minute. And the filmmaker in me, the wheels start turning. I said, I gotta meet this guy. And lo and behold, I had an opportunity to connect and just really enjoyed having conversations with Anthony. I just couldn't believe the stories that he was telling me and what I was researching, and I just became even more and more excited to get to know Anthony and get to know people in his world. But it wasn't until the moment where I took my daughter to see one of Anthony's shows for New York Fashion Week, where I realized that if I didn't make this film, somebody else would. And I needed to be that person to make this film. I needed to help tell this story because I knew that I can help honor Anthony's life and honor his work in a way that no one else could truly do that. And I had to convince him of this, right? It just didn't happen overnight. I had to talk to Anthony and say, hey, Anthony, please let me tell your story. And after several months, Anthony and Rob gave me an opportunity to turn the cameras on. And it's been so much fun because Anthony doesn't stop. Anthony is always out there working. And all we needed to do was just follow him and try to keep up. And over the course of over a year or so leading up to the Pet Gala that happened this past year, it's been an absolute honor and pleasure, not only to assemble a really awesome team of friends and filmmakers to help tell the story, but to also just experience the impact that Anthony has on so many people, so many families, and certainly so many pets and dogs. So without further ado, I just want to introduce Anthony, bring him up on stage, have him say a couple of words, and then we'll show off a 15-minute work sample. It's a short film. Some of you might have seen it already if you were at the event this past year at the museum. We had it online as well for a couple of months. We took it back down because we're now in the process of editing the feature film. Very excited about giving you guys an update on that. We hope to have the film done certainly by the summer of 2025. So keep an eye out for more information on our website, on our Instagram. Certainly follow Anthony's Instagram. But without further ado, I want to introduce and bring Anthony up on stage. Anthony Rubio.
I got to give him the first the effect from the poster.
Love it.
There's a story behind the shades, and I'll tell you that soon.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is very humbling for me. Like he said, he had to chase me around to get this story because I was like, I don't know if I wanted to put my life out there and, let everybody see what's going on. But then I said it would be an insult to people not to let them visit our world and see what goes into what we've created. Yes, I worked at the High School of Art and Design. I'm hoping to retire this March after 35 years at the school. And while working there, I came up with a concept to design something for dogs because I rescued a dog, which is part of the film's story, so I'm not going to give too much away. But long story short, I sat down one day and I designed a garment for the dog, and one of the teachers turned around and said, "This is pretty good. So which way are you heading with this?" I says, "What do you mean where I'm heading with this? This is just for my dog." And he was like, "Oh no," he says, "you have to market this. There's a market for this." And he says, "So you're going to either go with PetSmart and those little places, or do you want to create a niche for yourself and do something that nobody's ever done before?" And that sounded tasty. So I went in that direction. I says, "I'm going to create a niche. I want to create a luxury line of clothing for dogs that, let's put it this way, that people wouldn't know they loved it until they saw it." And that was what I did. I came out with My first designs, I put them out for Halloween mostly. So I was doing Michael Jackson, you name it. I was doing all sorts of famous characters, the Transformers, astronauts, you name it. But I got a call while I was in Italy. I was on vacation with Rob. You'll meet Rob soon. We were on vacation, and this, by the way, this is Kimba. He's one of twins. I didn't bring the other one because, like you see the kids, that would be my dogs all over the place. So I said I have to handle one at a time. So they travel with me everywhere. They've gone all over Europe. They've been to more places than people do, and they have a bigger wardrobe than I have. I can safely tell you that. But we were on vacation, and I get a phone call from the photo editor of Vogue magazine, Vogue Italia. I always wanted to be in Vogue, so I was like, Vogue Italia? They were like, that's the Bible of all the Vogues. So this woman came over to meet us at the hotel, and she sat down and she looked, Kimba was with me at the time. He's the one that I take with me because he knows how to schmooze everybody. So he came out in this totally covered tuxedo with top hat in pearls, and she was blown away. And she said, this is art. And I said, thank you. And she was like, I'm opening up the visual of our Vogue magazine, the equivalent online for the first time ever for Vogue. And she said, and I would consider putting you in, but the people in Italy don't appreciate this as much as New Yorkers. Then Rob pulled out his laptop and showed her pictures. And she was like, oh, wait a minute. She says, we're doing this. I'm putting it in Vogue. And she says, and I want his pictures. And I looked at her and I said, well, he's the novice. He's not good with the camera yet. She put her hand in my hand and she said, I am the photo editor of Vogue. I was like, okay. So long story short, we got a couple of other photographers together and we did photo shoots. She immediately sent me to Lake Como and to Venice. We did photo shoots there. And then I get the phone call from New York that they heard what was going on with Vogue, and they were like, we want you to be the first designer ever to put the dogs on the runways of New York Fashion Week. That was like the mind blower of all mind blowers, because it was like putting the foot in the door, and I was like, once I'm here, I'm not getting out. What number show did we just do? Number 26? 26 New York Fashion Week shows. So that's how, once they got my foot in the door, that was it. It was expected, and we're known for being the most, how would I say it, covered shows by magazines and media, and that's where we got the idea to do a pet gala. It was actually Rob's idea. And so I kind of fought him on it, and he was like, no, being famous, you know, the dogs, being iconic and all this stuff. I was like, okay, we'll do it. And let me tell you, it took off like wildfire. And the rest is history. You know, I want you to know that I do this not to sell garments for dogs. 1/3 of the proceeds goes to animal rescues. So we're always making donations. We're always doing shows for like the Guide Dog Foundation here in Long Island. And we've raised a total of, what, 4 million? 4 million in the years in different charities across the country. Humane Society in Washington, D.C. We do California, so we get around. And that's why I was like, I don't know how Kevin's gonna do this, because I don't stay still, and I'm all over the place. And I'm called at the last minute. I was just offered to do Project Runway recently, and this is the second time. And I'm always being offered TV shows and all sorts of stuff because people are fascinated. How can you not be fascinated by something like this? I mean, does he get bothered? He's not bothered at all. He's 13 years old, by the way. And I have them since they fit in the palm of my hand. That other little baby that's walking around right now, that 1.5-year-old Leon Berger, has walked the runways for me, also for New York Fashion Week, as have his predecessors. So she's got a whole line of dogs that have worked with me. I have Baby here who's wearing my fashions also. She just debuted her first time on New York Fashion Week. And we make dreams come true. We make people, you know, people come up to me and they're like, do you think my dog can do it? And I'm like, let's work on it, you know, because my thing is to welcome everybody into this world. It's when I spoke to by the way, you want to hear something funny? The editor of Vogue's name is Alessia. Wow. Just like you, yeah. So that's 2 Alessias that have come into my life that have made a big difference. Okay, so just so you know that we do this basically to raise money for animal rescues and to also to advocate and speak on the plight of animals that are not being taken care of, educating people on pet population, pet control, population control, things like cancer for animals, that animals do suffer, and educating people that getting a pet is not just buying a puppy while it's cute and throwing it on the street when it's a year later and chewing on your shoes. They're like human beings. They need love, they need protection, and they put all of their trust in you and loyalty into you for you to turn around and kick them to the curb. Not good. So I try to educate the world as much as I can and put a good light on everything where, you know, it's not about shopping for dogs, because we became famous for also putting out adopt, adopt, don't shop. And we did that when these guys were puppies, and it went viral. So every time we come up with some crazy idea, we look at each other and like, nah, and then we put it out there, it blows up. So now I don't question anything anymore. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And that's how we started with this film. Thank you, Anthony.
My name is Anthony Rubio, and I am a pet couturier. I'm a fashion designer, in other words. Pet fashion is not just a trend, it's here to stay.
When it comes to canine couture,
the Dior of doggy design.
as a designer who needs no introduction, nobody does it better than Anthony Rubio.
The Met Gala is a fun event. It's like the Academy Awards for fashion. Who doesn't dream of one day walking that carpet? But why not create my own? And why not create it with the most fun subjects that you can get?
This is an event that's been called the Pet Gala.
I cannot believe what I'm witnessing, from my advanced beginning stage to what I'm seeing now.
This is a life-changing event of saving a dog. Basically set his life in a whole different path.
I thought the Pet Gala was spectacular.
This is something to watch out for.
I think he's a superhuman. I mean, I don't understand how he gets these things done in the nick of time.
Canine couturier Anthony Rubio worked around the clock to create these doggy designs in just 3 days.
Access Hollywood has taken to giving me a call 2 days before the Met Gala and throwing a challenge at me to create 5 pieces of the most outstanding designs that are seen on the red carpet.
Anthony is an innovator. He's always pushing the envelope, and he's always surprising us with new looks.
I designed a silver outfit for Bandit, encrusted in Swarovski crystals with bell bottoms in the whole 9. Bandit did win, and the next day it showed up in the New York Daily News, a side-by-side of Donald Trump. Donald Trump found out about it and was not happy. Brace yourselves for the Pet Gala, set to dazzle New York City just 2 weeks following the 2024 Met Gala. Can't wait to see you there.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane, and we are here for our very special screening at the Rockville Center Public Library, and I'm here with designer Anthony Rubio about his documentary directed by Kevin Lopez. What a thrill! How excited are you for this?
Would you believe it? Somebody wants to know my story. Yeah,
it's some story.
Oh yeah. What people don't realize is that I'm like an onion. I have many layers, and we have a lot to tell and a lot to share. And this was an idea that Kevin Lopez brought to me. I was a little reluctant at first, and then I asked myself, how dare I not share what I've been through when people are interested and are so supportive. So we had a great time. We've been filming for over a year now. So
you said it's done. Now you're going to edit this and make it a featured film, a featured documentary. You have to submit it. I told him, Cannes Film Festival and the Hamptons International Film Festival too. Both festivals, if you can.
Well, why not Venice?
That too. So, and I love this book. And now you have to autograph this book for me.
Yes, I absolutely will. This is Kimba on the front, who's down here with me. And this was a quick little book we did for the museum opening for the AKC Museum. So I'll definitely dedicate it to you when we're done here.
Now, you're getting ready for 2 big things happening in February. New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And you're also getting ready for another event that you're having in the spring. I believe that's in April in Long Island as well. Tell us about both these events.
The biggest of all the events that I really want to get out there is that we're doing the Pet Gala a few weeks after the Met Gala. And
That's in May.
That's in May, and that's going to be super incredible because this is a big challenge. The theme is a big challenge, and I'm waiting for the left shoe to drop before I start sewing. But I always have to wait until the Met Gala itself happens to see what the celebrities are wearing, and that's when I create what I'm doing for the dogs. And then, of course, we have the New York Fashion Week show coming in February, and then before that, we have a photo event exclusively for the press of the top red carpet looks on dogs, though. So I'm mimicking Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Ariana Grande. They'll all be there, but in dog form.
I love it. I can't wait. Tell my audience where we could go to find out more information. What is the website?
My website is anthonyrubiodesigns.com, but you could Google my name and you'll find me all over the place. We're everywhere, and we've gone international, so we're recognized everywhere. I'm getting emails from all over the world. It's incredible.
I love you, darling.
Love you too, honey.
Let's do an air kiss.
Mwah, mwah.
And we'll be back, darlings, with more interviews for Cognac's Corner. Keep watching. Pink Champagne Kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.